For today's score, we're going to make a treble clef on this batard. This would be a perfect personalized gift for a musical friend. Let me tell you the specs on this loaf before we get going. So this is 500 grams of flour, 20% whole wheat, 68% hydration, 3% salt, and I used 20% inoculation or starter in it. I am going to use my bread sling by Bread Basics as I always do. An affiliate link is down below. Be sure and use my code simply10 to save 10%. It's got this little bracelet that keeps it contained in my cabinet. I've learned to talk about this because, like I always say, if I don't, somebody asks about it. It's nice and big. It's a 9.5-inch bread sling, which is the reason that I really like it. And it holds boules and batards of all shapes and sizes. This is quite a large batard, so it's really versatile. I use it for all of my loaves pretty much now. So there we go. The price, by the way, is in euros. Last I checked, and it might have changed a little bit, the price USD was about $23, and it's $7 in shipping. But if you use my code, again, you'll save 10%. Okay, enough about that. So let's put our loaf right here. I did not flour my Banneton, and it came out, yay. I'm just gonna go ahead and brush off the little bit of rice flour that's clinging to it so we don't wind up with a gummy mess. I've done the treble clef before, and one thing I want to tell you is you really want to draw it out ahead of time. If you freehand it, I guarantee you won't be happy with the results. Treble clefs, it turns out, are a little more complicated than they look. It's just the drawing part that's hard. The scoring part of this is actually quite simple. I'm going to dab a little bit of that off. I feel like I got just a little bit too much water. Okay, now our rice flour. I use rice flour because it does not brown in the oven like wheat flour can. However, wheat flour can work. It's just not going to work as well. We're a very musical family. I have a daughter who's a professional flutist with the Marine Corps band. My husband's real musical. I sing. So for us, musically themed loaves are good things. Okay, so a treble clef, and I'm gonna have to do this a few times. It starts with a little loop-de-loop down here at the bottom, and I'm using the dull end of a wooden skewer. And I'm going to be doing lots of adjusting while we go. And it goes all the way to the top. Nice straight line. And I want this to take up quite a bit of my loaf. And then it swirls like this. Comes down and around. Swirls, whoops, go out further here. Like this. And I'm going to go ahead and do this part, because this part on a treble clef doesn't quite meet that middle line. I'm going to go up and around. I'm going to meet my, I don't know if you can see that. That is too high. It needs to come down lower. The little dingly bob off the end here, I don't know what it's called. Should go down quite a bit lower, but we don't have that kind of space on the loaf. Where is my flour? Need more flour. Okay. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I'm Simply Beautiful Sourdough. And a lot of my designs wind up, I'm going to bring it out like this. I think that's more accurate for a treble clef. I think it goes out to the side a little bit. But I do my designs like, you know, photos of them and then a fast-forwarded video normally on Instagram. Okay, I think that's actually pretty good. It's one of the quickest I've ever done. So I'm going to keep in mind the tension on a batard, again, goes across. So if I get this line too deep, it's really going to pull and split in the middle. Now I am going to do a functional score at the end all the way around, but in the meantime, we don't want this splitting out. So I think I'll start right here. I'm going to pick up my corner of my bread sling there. I'm going to be so I'm bringing her around using my, trying not to scoot that out of the way, using my turntable to my advantage. Trying to really pay attention to the lines I drew. It's easy to go out. Like that. Now we're going to go down the middle, and I'm making this line very, very light. Being careful not to intersect the end of that line with this one, because then it just makes a big split. And I want to keep my treble clef intact as much as I can with oven spring. This is going to come up, go around, and make a little loop down here at the end. Now, in a real treble clef, that would meet, and it's a little ball, but I'm going to just keep them from meeting right there. Now, a treble clef, if I remember correctly, they're wider here, so I'm going to deepen this, and they're wider here, because I want oven spring to pull that right there. And then I'm just, make sure that's nice and pronounced without going outside of that line. Okay. Now I'm not going to do anything else. I've tried doing musical notes. I've tried doing sharp and flat signs. It just distracts from my design. So now all I'm going to do is go right here around the base, and I'm going to cut in really deep as my lom will go. And I'm going to do a huge functional score all the way around the bottom there, where it's sure to stay out of the way. Whoops. Let me move that in, of my design. And there we are. Treble clef. I'm going to go put it in a hot Dutch oven, bake at 425 for about 25 minutes, and we'll see you at the Dutch oven reveal. Let's see if our treble clef survived oven spring. How did it do? Did the functional score do its job and save the design? And yes. For the most part, yes. I think all things considered, this is a success. There is a split right there. You can see it's a little bit of a lift, like an ear. And let's take a look around the bottom. Tons and tons of oven spring there, right where it should have happened, and it saved our design. Nope, lots of shadow. So we will put this back in the oven at 425 for about 25 more minutes, I think, until it's as brown as I'd like, and I'll see you with the finished loaf of bread. Here is our beautiful treble clef. Before I forget, if you could give this video a quick thumbs up, quick like, there's my thumb, and subscribe if you would like. Comment down below with any thoughts or questions or whatever you'd like. I love communicating with everybody. So here we are, the treble clef. I think all in all, this turned out really well. So get a load of this. Look at the oven spring. Is that not impressive? So cool. So let's turn her around. I like the bread sling because I can do this without burning my hands. That loaf is hot. So you can tell it just got some really great vertical height in the oven. And this is why I do that huge functional score, because if I didn't, it would completely tear along my design right here, and this would just be in pieces. It would just be all separated and torn, probably torn, you know, up this way and spread out, and these would be far apart from each other. So that's what that big old functional score is for. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to watch my video. I so appreciate it. I hope you have a blessed day wherever you are. Bye-bye and be blessed.